complex inequality means they have an inequality where you, with two sides or two things, it's greater than something, it's less than something, and you write it all in one line. For example, if I go to a town, and hold on one second, I'm just checking to make sure I'm recording. If I go to one town and I say I measure the height of all the people there, and they're between 5 and 6 feet tall. They can be 5 feet, they can be 6 feet, they can be anything in between. I could write that as a complex inequality, 5 less than equal to x less than or equal to 6. You could write that as, I could write that as two one-sided inequalities. X greater than equal to 5, that's this part, and then x less than or equal to 6. If I wanted to, if there was more to solve here, I could solve each one separately and then put them all back together. Now, if you don't know, I'll go on an aside for this of how to work with inequalities. You work an inequality the same way you work an equation, with one exception. If you multiply or divide by a negative number, the inequality flips. So let's try this. 2x plus 4 equals 2. Not equals, that's an equation. Greater than or equal to 2. I want inequalities. So first step, subtract 4, subtract 4. I'm using the inverse addition by subtracting 4. Subtraction is the inverse of addition, the inverse addition quality. 2x greater than or equal to 2 minus 4 is negative 2. I haven't flipped the sign because I haven't multiplied or divided both sides by a negative. Then I'm going to divide both sides by positive 2, still won't flip the sign. X greater than or equal to negative 2 over 2, which is negative 1. What happens if I have to divide or multiply by a negative? Negative 2x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 2. I will first subtract 4 from both sides. Negative 2x greater than or equal to negative 2. Then I'm dividing by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. So now I've got to flip that inequality. X less than or equal to negative 2 over negative 2, which is 1. I flipped it because I divided both sides by negative 2. That's the exception. If I have a compound inequality and I'm dividing by a negative or multiplying by a negative, it's probably going to reverse the inequality. I'll show that at the end after I go through an example, which is from actually this, whatever this thing called, TSIA2 practice. And I'm going to do the second practice question using this information. It says the acidity of water in a swimming pool is considered normal if the average of three pH readings is between 7.2 and 7.8 inclusive. The first, well, the rest of that is for this example. But okay, it's got to be between 7.2 and 7.8 inclusive. So 7.2 is less than or equal to, inclusive means or equal to, the average is less than or equal to, was it 7.8 or 7.9? It says 7.8. Okay, 7.8. There. I don't know where I got 7.9 from. How do I find the average? The average is the sum of the readings divided by the number of readings. I believe there are 3 readings. Let me look at the practice question. It says, if 2 readings are 8 and 8.4, what possible values for the third reading will make the average pH normal? Are these third readings likely? Explain. So the average, and the first 2 are 8 and 8.4. So average is the sum, 8 plus 8.4 plus x divided by the number of readings. So I'm just going to add 8 and 8.4. 7.2 is less than or equal to 16.4 plus x divided by 3, less than or equal to 7.8. I'll show this both ways. I'll do it separately, and then I'll do it both together. Here's separately. I'll do this down here. 16.4 plus x divided by 3 is greater than or equal to 7.2. And then 16.4 plus x divided by 3 is less than or equal to 7.8. I've just separated them. This is 1. 16.4 plus x divided by 3 is greater than or equal to 7.2. And then this is the other. 16.4 plus x divided by 3 is less than or equal to 7.8. Now, the answer choices have them all together, so I'm going to have to put them all together at the end. I'll multiply both sides by 3. 16.4 plus x greater than or equal to 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 7 is 21, 21.6. Then I'll subtract 16.4 from both sides. And that's x greater than or equal to 5.2. Then I'll do this one. 3 times 7.8, 3 times 8 is 24, 3 times 7 is 21, 23. 16.4 plus x is less than or equal to 23.4. Then I'm subtracting 16.4 from both sides. And x is less than or equal to 7. Very good. And I can put them all together. 5.2. Notice it's on the close side, so it's less than or equal to x. X is less than or equal to 7. And which answer choice is that? Let me find there. 5.2 is less than or equal to p. They call it p instead of x, less than or equal to 7. And is this likely or unlikely? Unlikely. So it's answer B. The problem with answer D is it says 7.1. Where did 7.1, did it come out to 7 exactly? Yes, where did 7.1 come from? I have no idea where they got 7.1 from. So D is wrong, B is correct. 5.2 is less than or equal to P. And the readings are probably unlikely. And notice A says 5.2 is less than or equal to P is less than or equal to 7. But if the first two were 8 and 8.4, probably not going to be all the way down to 5.2, something like that, or even 7. It's just way lower than the other two readings. So unless I made a big mistake, they're going to be unlikely. So I would say answer B. And I think that comes out correct. I didn't even answer the first one, so it said that one's incorrect. But yes. All right, now let me show you if I wanted to do those both at the same time. And to do that, let me see if I can. If you want to relook at this, you're going to have to rewind it because I'm erasing all this other stuff to make room for showing it. It's going to be the same work, but doing it all at the same time. I guess I'll have to use the eraser here. That's going to be too hard. There we go. Let's get rid of these parts and this part. And then this I think I can just delete. How about that? Now I'm going to show you that you can do it all at the same time. First, I want to multiply by 3, and I'm going to multiply 3 both to the left and right. 3 times 7.2 is 21.6, less than or equal to 16.4 plus x over 3, less than or equal to 3 times 8 is 24, 3 times 7 is 21, plus 2 is 23.4. Now I'm going to, wait a minute, I still put the 3 under there. I've already multiplied it by 3. This is gone. That's why I write all my work, so that in case I make a mistake, I can see it and not end up with a silly mistake. Well, when I say it to myself, I say, Frank, it's a stupid mistake. So now I've got 16.4 plus x. I've multiplied to the right and to the left by 3. And 21.6 is less than or equal to 16.4 plus x, less than or equal to 23.4. Now I'll subtract that 16.4. Both from the left and from the right. I'm just doing it all at the same time. And this is 5.2, less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 7. So it comes out the same way, except I just did it both at the same time. Now, what would happen if I had a multiply or divide by a negative number? Let's say I'll just make one up. 6 is less than or equal to negative x over 3 is less than or equal to 8. So now, in order to turn this into a positive x, I'm going to have to multiply both sides by -3. Because negative x over 3 times -3 is equal to positive x. I just have to somehow get rid of that negative sign. So I'm multiplying this side by -3. And I know that looks like an x. It was supposed to be a times sign, but when I'm using x, I don't want to use an x as a times sign. So as soon as I multiply by -3, I have to flip those inequalities. So now negative x over 3 times 3, or times -3 rather, is just equal to x. And I flipped my inequalities. -3 times 6 is -18. 8 times -3 is -24. And notice I'm reversed. So I probably want to write this -24 less than or equal to x less than or equal to -18. I mean, this is still correct. Well, x is greater than. Yeah, it's still correct, but it's just written backwards. I want to put the smaller number, the number to the left on the number line. So a lot of times when I have to do two-sided one and I'm multiplying or dividing something by a negative number to where I want to flip the inequality, I'm going to have to just write the thing backwards. So I keep the smaller number on the number line, or the number to the left on the number line, to the left side. But this would still be correct. X is less than or equal to -18, and it's greater than or equal to -4. Still correct, but maybe a little bit clearer if I draw it like that. All right, that's a lesson on complex inequalities.